Hi Ellie, wondering what I'm doing today? So I'm looking at a list of transactions of Bounce Fitness and I'm going to be preparing journal entries for them. But first of all, I have to check and I have to reconcile the entries with the source documents and check for errors within the source documents. So here I have a source document which I'll be matching with my list of transactions here and check whether or not if there is any error in the list of transactions or in the source document. But first, we must check for a list of items to check for accuracy in the source document. So these include date of transaction, name of parties to the transaction, the monetary value of the transaction, the description of the transaction, so any taxes if applicable, discounts if applicable, and any calculations if there are any present. So here I have the transaction for with the number 002, and we're going to be matching it up with the list of transactions on my screen. So this is transaction number, so this is invoice number 002, which matches up with the docket number 002. The dates are identical, they match at 5th of March 2021. The description of the transaction also matches with the transaction list, so it was paid in cash, paid cash in full. As you can see, it matches up with cash sale. So including taxes including tax, which was $14.27, the total monetary value of this transaction was $156.99, which also matches with the transactions list here with a total amount of $156.99. So if you look over here on my screen once again, in my transactions list I have all the transactions recorded starting with number 1 ending at number 18. And if I go over here to my folder containing the source documents, I have all the source documents starting from number 2 to 16. And here I have some additional source documents. So I have number 1, number 7, number 11, number 15, number 5, and number 9. And therefore, looking at all these source documents in my folder, I have concluded that source documents, so transactions number 14, 17, and 18 are missing. I will now refer the missing transactions to the accounts manager, and I will fill out this following table here to send these missing transactions details to him. So docket number, so transaction number 14, so its docket number is 014. The date of this transaction was the 20th of March 2021. The transaction details was rent, which was paid in cash, and the monetary value was $350.00. So next one, transaction 17, docket number 017, as in the transactions list. The date of this transaction was 28th of March 2021. Description: interest received, monetary value 1.89. Last one, transaction 18, docket number 018. Date is the same, 28th of March 2021. Transaction description: payment received for invoice sale from W. Jones, and the monetary value was $3,450.00. And so now what I will do is I will talk to the accounts manager after sending this table to him for his approval before I can record these transactions in my journal entries. Now let's discuss some technical terms. What do we use to record the journal entries? We use software such as Microsoft Office Excel and Xero, which starts with X. How do we adhere to regulatory requirements in the process? We follow the accounting standards. Which accounting standards exactly? So we follow AAS B15, which deals with contracts with customers, and AASB 101, which deals with the presentation of financial statements. So what accounting principles are we following? Firstly, we're following double entry bookkeeping, where each transaction has two entries, one for debit and one for credit. We're also following revenue recognition principle, which states that all revenues are recognized whether on cash or on credit. And lastly, we're following expense recognition principle, which states that all expenses are recognized whether on cash or on credit. Now I'm going to be showing you how we do double entry bookkeeping. So here, as you can see, if I bring up my list of transactions, let's take transaction number 4, which was made on 6th of March 2021 with the description cash sale and monetary value of $18.99, so $1,899.00. So we record this transaction in Microsoft Excel with the date in the first column as 6th of March 2021 so the receipt / invoice number is the same as the docket number 004. In this transaction, we debit $1,899 for cash. We debit cash as $1,899 and we credit $1,899 in sales, and therefore we come to the description as cash sales. So this concludes on how we do double entry bookkeeping. Now I'm going to be showing you how we do revenue recognition. To show you, we will look at the example of transaction number 2. Transaction number 2 has docket number 002. It was made on the 5th of March 2021, with the description cash sale and a monetary value of $156.99. So as we return to our Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, in the date column we placed 5th of March 2021 receipt / invoice number 002, and because cash sales was debited, we have recorded $156.99 of debit in this account, and we've described it as cash sales. Now I will show you another example of revenue recognition using transaction number 3. Transaction number 3 was made on the 6th of March 2021 with description invoice sale to R. Smith with monetary value $1,999. Going over to the spreadsheet, we enter the date as 6th of March 2021, invoice number 003, and in this case, because cash sales were not made but credit sales were, in this case we debited $1,999 as accounts receivable. Now I'm going to be showing you expense recognition using the example of transaction number 6. Transaction number 6 was made on the 7th of March 2021, where Shiny Cleaner provided us with a supplier statement for $65.00. So as we return to the worksheet, we've recorded the date and docket number of this transaction, and in this case, since we have not paid for this service yet in cash, we decided to credit $65.00 as accounts payable. Now I'm going to show you another example of expense recognition. So in this case, we will look at transaction number 7, made on the 11th of March 2021, where we filled car with fuel and we paid cash for the fuel, and the transaction amount was $28.50. Going back to the spreadsheet, we entered the date as 11th of March, receipt/invoice number 7, and in this case, because the fuel was paid for in cash, we credited $28.50 in cash.